face today is a former deputy minister. He tried to be member of parliament. He did not succeed, but he is on the Dr. Brian Champon campaign team as a spokesperson. The Honorable Pius and Hadzide. You're welcome to Face.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
How is Esojaman doing?
Well, Esojaman is great. I bring him warm regards from Esojaman. I was there over the weekend.
Oh, you went there to campaign or you went there to just...
I went to visit family and to touch base with my people.
But when they see you, do they say, oh, they are sorry they didn't vote for you? Or they're like, yeah, we are happy we didn't vote for you because we have a deputy finance minister and we had voted for you and will be orphans?
Well, no, I was deputy minister even before I became, or I wanted to become MP. If my party had won and I had won, I'm sure that the Sojaman would have been looking at maybe something, maybe even bigger than deputy minister. But we are grateful for the support we received during the campaign. It was a tough campaign, but we distinguished ourselves. We have congratulated the Member of Parliament. Now it is his job to ensure that what we wanted to do for our people, to bring a Sojaman up to levels that I believe that we should get. If you look at the God-given potentials, the natural endowments of Esojaman, I dare suggest that we are lagging far behind, and there is enormous potential. And now the people have reposed their confidence in the Honorable Thomas Ampemiako. I wish him well. I continue to pray for him, for the strength and the wisdom to be able to do what we wanted to do. It's his time now. What
do the people of Esojaman need? I mean, the last time I went there, I went to the top of the mountain, the peninsula area. That is what Jekiti, is that the road to Jekiti?
Yes, that leads to Jekiti.
That road, I mean, after the Akosombo township, it was not good.
Yes.
I don't know if anything has changed since.
Well, it's a bad road. During the last administration, we ensured that the contract for the rehabilitation of the road was executed. Work had begun. We were steadily on course. You would notice that from around Marine, heading towards Sedom Junction, the culverts, Ajinadono Junction, we had developed the culverts. The contractor was very much actively on site. We were hoping that we were going to complete that road in record time. I think that just like it had happened with many other contracts, the impact of the COVID-19 and its implications on the finances of the state delayed the execution of the project for some time. But the contractor was on site. We expected work to have progressed at a more speedy pace, but that did not happen, unfortunately, and we lost the election. The last time I used that road, the contractor was not on site. I haven't used it in a couple of months. I can only hope and pray that now that we have a finance minister as our MP, he will leverage his influence in government to ensure that this project is completed and completed on time. It is the same for the Enumbuso Road. That one I personally played a major role in bringing the contractor to site. The Bituminous overlay was started between Osibin Junction getting into Enum Township. The last time I used the road, I also noticed that work had stalled. We can only hope and pray that the Honourable Member of Parliament leverages his influence in government to once again look at that road and some other roads, the Mpakadan road, for instance. This was very much part of the reasons why we thought that we should get into public service to be able to advocate for the rehabilitation of that road. So, I mean, there are a number of road works that need to be done in Esojaman. But beyond that, you have been there. You see the tourism potentials of Esojaman, not too far from the airport in Accra, not too far from the national capital. But the flora and the fauna exists for us to be able to fast track the development of Esojaman hinging it even on tourism alone. Again, you know the agricultural potentials of Esojaman. The river Volta flows right through the constituency, you see, and goes all the way to waste in the sea. And so aquaculture is one of the things that we can focus on, and also irrigation, because the river flows right through the middle of the constituency, and it can be leveraged for irrigation. And so agriculture should be one of the areas that we should also look at. And there are a few ideas that we had, we still have, and we are hoping that the Member of Parliament is able to execute on some of these ideas that we have.
I know you are biased, but 8 months on, is your constituency feeling that you have produced a Deputy Minister of Finance?
My personal attitude is to give him time and not to be too quick in judging his output. There's a lot of pressure on this administration. If you looked at the promises they made, which largely appears to be unfulfilled. And so I believe that from the center, the global picture, and looking at the strategic position that he occupies, Deputy Finance Minister, he'll be very much under pressure. I mean, in terms of the global space, the Ghanaian economy.
Okay.
And so my attitude is to give him space, wish him well, and pray for him. Very soon, I believe that the question that you asked will be answered. You
mentioned Mpakadan. Now, one of the projects you inherited as a government was the rail line from Tema to Akosombo, started by the Mahama government. You came and continued with it. You changed the course and decided to put a bridge over the river and terminate it at Mpakadan, I think, or rather at the other side of the river. I'm not sure where exactly, which is still in your constituency. What is the, I know that the train has become operational. What I don't know is whether the bridge over the river has been completed, or whether the train has been using that, and also where it is supposed to go and end up for the offloading of goods or for loading of goods onto barges onto the river. I don't know if you can tell us what the status of that is.
Well, Sandra, I can. I just don't know why you would say it was started by President Mahama. I mean, that we could say that it was started
project, by... Was a project?
No, it was a project that was brought back to life by the Kufu administration, the MPP administration. But even then, if you want to go back, I'm sure that from Nkrumah's development plan, you also find the idea of connecting Tema to Akosombo, leverage water transportation to. So the idea had always existed. Kufuor's time, there was conversations around that. In Mahama's time, there was conversation, but there was not much in terms of concrete action.
There was. And, I thought they started some project before they left.
Well, no, they
around
didn't. They didn't. They will argue that they signed a contract for some amount of money. Which amount of money changed? Because the scope of work had changed, and so there had to be renegotiations, and that was done by the Akufo-Addo administration. It was actually led by the former Minister for Railway from the Western Region, Honorable Joe Gatti. The engineering was problematic in the conception of the previous NDC regime, and that's why I'm saying that we should probably delineate and differentiate between what they wanted to do and what we wanted to do. They were going to take the rail line into Akosombo. They were going to cut into the rocks, and that would have been an engineering disaster. The dam could collapse. The Akosombo Dam, which is a major, it's a mainstay of our hydro power generation capacity in this country. That bridge, that dam could have been compromised had the original design of the previous Mahama administration followed, because you had to cut through the rocks and also go through the gorge to be able to get to the river. And so in the wisdom of the Akufo-Addo administration, led by the technical people, the engineers, there had to be a rerouting, and now a rail over river, the first of its kind, within our West African dispensation was constructed. That has been completed, to answer your question directly.
So the bridge is
the
completed.
Bridge is completed. There has been
at Senchi.
At Senchi, there actually has been trials. There have been the train trials over the bridge, and so everything is set now. You remember there was an accident during one of the trials. Somebody had parked a vehicle in one of the and the train ran into the parked vehicle. It was a major national matter. And so there is no doubt that the rail project, the construction was completed. The various stations were also completed. We were hoping that by now rail transportation would have resumed in earnest. I think
there was a train on the track recently. I saw pictures that it has started commercial operations. I don't know where it starts from and where it ends. So that's what I was asking. Maybe it goes to Japan. If it crosses the river based on what you have said, then maybe at least it goes to Japan. But what about the end points? Do you know that one is in your constituency?
Yes.
Do you know whether that has been finished and whether?
Well, the whole idea is to do. There's a mini port that's under development in Mpakadan. The idea is to leverage water transportation to be able to send some of the heavy goods that normally would ply the road through Kumasi, Techiman, Tamale, and these are heavy duty goods, cement, iron rods, all kinds of very, very heavy haulage that we use the roads, and it also compromises the lifespan of the roads. And so the whole idea is to not just focus on transportation of human beings, persons, but also goods. And so the port, which was still under construction, would then close that gap, because we have to connect the rail transportation beautifully to water transportation to be able to achieve the full objective of the project. That should be completed. We are hoping that the current NDC government.
So for now, we can only use the track for commercial passenger transport, not for goods as envisaged.
Well, goods can still go, but
not the kind of goods
we
that
need the connection that will facilitate the water transportation, and the port is not ready.
Because
we hope that the government completes it.
Because you are familiar with the route, and I'm also from the area, that's why I'm asking you these questions, and so it terminates in your concern. I'm asking a question about this rail line. I mean, where I come from, Asuchari Junction, the rail line does not pass through the town necessarily. It passes a distant community. What I've noticed is that the rail line does not go along the Tema Akosombo road. So if you were living along the Tema Akosombo road and you want to come to Accra by train, you would have to do a long journey to go catch the train. And usually the rail line passes through very bushy, remote areas. Do you know why that was done? Because I would have thought that put the rail line close to the road, because that's where settlements are. Like the one we see in Sakumono through Tema to Accra. I mean Tema through Sakumono to Accra.
Well, this is an engineering question, but I know as a student of engineering that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And so in designing roads and railways and rail tracks, engineers will take into consideration some of these things. And so I cannot speak directly to that matter, just that I must add that the stations are within accessible distances. It's not everywhere that the train will stop. The train will stop at specific locations. Those are the train stations. Those are sited strategically to be able to be accessed easily by people in the various catchment areas. And also remember that it's not all the people who live along the main road. There is a large number of people who also live within what one may describe as the hinterland, and they also should be given access. Otherwise, they too need to travel long distances to come to the main road.
Okay.
So I think that you may have a point there, but I think that the engineers will...
Fair enough. Last week, my guest who sat in this chair that you're sitting in was an NDC parliamentary hopeful. He didn't make it. And I asked him directly, I said, okay, it's 4 years to the next election. Do you plan to run again or it's too early? And he said, no, he still plans to run, and he's making that communication announcement now. Do you plan to run again in 2028?
I think that it's too early.
It's too early.
I think that we in this ecosystem of politics and public service should be able to support one another. We have a member of parliament now who is barely 8 months, 1 year. I think that if you are not careful and you communicate a certain intent, you may put pressure on him. He may leave what he has to do to be wanting to engage in politics. I am into this thing not for myself, but for my constituency and for Ghana at large. And so if today it is not yet my turn and somebody else has been asked to hold the stead, I believe that the best we should do is to support the person or those group of individuals. We can criticize them, and they must be open to accept criticism with conduct and take it as feedback to impact their own planning and programming and delivery. But I think that it is early days yet. What we should need to do is to support the people who have the mandate at this point, give them time. In due course, we shall assess their output and compare it with our own vision and our own plan. And if there is a gap and we believe that we could do better, then you probably would want to announce. But if you get at them right now, then...
It's too early.
Yeah.
Very well. But what is not too early is the flag bearer race, and my guest is going to talk to us about why he's supporting Dr. Brian Achampong in the NPP's internal race. This is Face to Face on ChannelOne television. My guest, Pius Hadzide, former Deputy Minister, former CEO, former NPP parliamentary candidate for Esojaman. I'm Umaru Sandamado. This is ChannelOne television. We'll return with more. Please stay with us.